Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Console Corner. Starting off the week fresh here, Monday. A lot of things happened over the weekend. We're going to cover some of them. Some of those other things we'll just have to leave for the professionals out there, I guess you could say. My name, of course, is Real Blue TV. You can follow me on Twitter at Real Blue TV with no E in blue. But first, we need to address the topic that was first reported by Slasher, aka Rod Breslow, on Twitter over the weekend. Over this weekend, dozens of women from within the gaming and streaming industry have levied sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, and sexual assault allegations towards several major streamers, both on Mixer and Twitch, and some YouTubers, gaming and esports personalities, and gaming industry personnel. Included in the allegations are Omid Dariani, the CEO of OP Group, the OPG, a content creator management company. Yesterday, Omid has stepped down as CEO, and over a dozen Twitch streamers and YouTubers, including Dodger, Co-Carnage, Strippin, and Towley, have now dropped OPG. Several of the allegations levied have been to influential streamers, players, and members of the Destiny community, which prompted Bungie employees to voice strong messages of support and the official Bungie Twitter account to reiterate expectations of the community. Twitch has also released a statement via Twitter. Mixer has also been under fire this weekend for numerous accounts of racism within the workplace, especially from higher-ups, including people specifically telling an employee they were hired, or a past employee, that they were hired for their quote-unquote street smarts, which clearly meant they were hired this person as a diversity hire. Now, Justin Wong even commented on Twitter that he was a VP at Twitch and reported this to the relationship-owning VP, the head of HR, and the CEO. All assured me it would be handled. Next year, he was in the same VIP space at the same Twitch event. I was told he was the VP's uncle and an important initiative launch partner. I get tired of waking up each and every day and looking on social media, in the gaming communities, in normal communities, any community basically, and seeing racism and sexual harassment. It doesn't matter who they are to you or if you've never met them before. Just treat people the same way you want to be treated yourself. I just don't understand. At the end of the day, we all bleed the same color. We all have to eat and drink to sustain ourselves. And it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female or anything else that you identify as. Just stop being a bad person. It's not that hard, really. I feel like we need to do more to end these things too. If you look at the Black Lives Matter movement, they've been protesting for weeks. People say they want to help. Companies say they're going to change things, but they really don't. Actions speak louder than words, and it's now time for us as a nation to act. Moving on now, though, we talk about the NBA 2K League, where on Friday they completed their tip-off tournament, and the Raptors come away with the big win, as most people anticipated as well. They were the favorite to win the tournament. A lot of people had problems with the lopsided groups. We talked about that last week. But the Raptors came up big, and they beat out the Kings 2-0 in the matchup, or in the series, to win that. And this felt like a final, worthy of our attention. The Kings played very well against a team like the Raptors. Not many people expected the Kings to win, but the Kings did put up a fight for most of the time. We did see the Raptors doing their normal Raptor things that they've been doing all season so far, and that's, they have really close first quarters or second quarters. They start to pull away, and then when that third quarter comes in, they just take off. And by the time the fourth quarter rolls around, if the game's not close enough for the opponent to keep it close, the Raptors just continue to run away with it, and that showed. The Raptors were pushed to a game 3 in the semifinals against Gen.g, and that was very impressive from Gen.g. I feel like the Tigers have been getting a lot better over the past couple weeks as well. I mean, they started off terribly in the first half of the first 6 weeks. In the first 3 weeks, they weren't playing as well as they are right now. They had to figure some things out. They made some lineup changes. Kai started distributing the ball at a higher rate than he was earlier in the season. Don't get me wrong. Kai is a phenomenal point guard in the league right now. He's scoring at an unbelievable level. He's up there among some of the top leading scorers in the league. Once he started to distribute that ball, they changed up their lineup. The Tigers are starting to move at an incredible pace, and they've gotten a lot better. I mean, it proves by their record so far in this tip-off tournament. They went 4-0. They win their first matchup in the quarterfinals of the elimination bracket, and then they push the Raptors to game 3. I mean, a lot of people don't see Gen.g pushing the Raptors to game 3 at all. They thought it would be a 2-0. So that in itself, even though they lost, is still impressive. They pushed the Raptors to that game 3 to begin with. So congrats to the Tigers, man. Big ups to them for playing so well and continuing to play well. Hopefully they continue that momentum into the second half of this, or the second part of the season here now, since we will see more remote play, especially with more COVID-19 cases breaking out amongst states like Florida and across all of the major sports leagues like the NBA, the NHL, and the NFL, and the MLB. But the Kings couldn't really find an answer for Kenny towards the end of games. So a lot of the teams in the NBA 2K League right now, their point guards are their leading scorers. Behind that is their centers. The teams that do find some quote-unquote off-meta success would be like, the Hornets, because they utilize Zay at the power forward on the offensive end more than any other power forward in the league right now. The Mavs try to do a double ball handler combo. It hasn't been working out very well for them as of lately. But the Raptors go 4-0 in pool play, in group play. They 2-0 the Bucks. They 2-0 the Kings. Their only game they lost the entire tip-off tournament was the one game they lost to Gen.g Tigers. So congrats to the Tigers. Congrats to the Kings, too. They made it really far. They had to go up against a really tough team in the Jazz Gaming. So look forward to seeing what the Kings can do moving forward, as well as the Jazz and especially the Tigers, like I was saying. But the Raptors, man, still undefeated this season, by the way. They have not lost a single matchup. I think they've only been pushed to game 3s 2 times now, maybe 3. I could be wrong. I haven't looked back and checked in the stat books for myself, but it could be 3. But, oh, man, they're still undefeated. Moving on, though. Let's talk some Call of Duty. I know we don't really talk as much Call of Duty as we should. But, hey, my boy I Shift, if you need the COD news, go to him and his new show, The Diffuse, which, by the way, great show. Checked it out myself. But the Florida Mutineers win the Paris Home Series to now become back-to-back champs in the CDL. Florida has figured out a way to play domination pretty much perfectly. They're able to push the limits without giving massive opportunities to their opponents. And when you can do that against the Atlanta FaZe, you're going to win a lot of domination games. You're going to win a lot of tournaments. You're going to put up big numbers, get a lot of kills, and you're going to start crushing your opponents. Of course, Dallas is still irrelevant pretty much. They couldn't really do anything in this tournament once again. I know they were one of the most hyped up and talked about teams coming into this season, but they've kind of taken a back seat to some of the teams like the Florida Mutineers as of lately. Been playing amazingly back-to-back, like we said. Atlanta FaZe has been playing great all season long. At the beginning of the season, the Huntsmen were one of the most dangerous teams. We've also seen London play very dangerously themselves. So I'm just still waiting for that Dallas team to get going and to really take off. But Florida, congratulations to them. They're playing great right now. Next up, we have Apex Legends. The ALGS Summer Circuit kicked off this weekend, and yesterday for North America, We watched a lot of that. I didn't really dive into the European ones on Saturday. I had a lot of gardening work to do. I'm sorry. Plus, we were finishing The Last of Us 2, which, by the way, I did. Uh, and we saw a ton of excitement among these teams in NA. And they were straight up fragging out. I mean, kills were coming out in bunches throughout this entire day of play, and it was awesome. Nicewig, the CLG player, was seen. I don't know if he's still with CLG, but he was seen racking up 18 kills on the day and won the event with his teammates Sick and Bowser, which, according to Nicewig, are super underrated players, but not anymore because they won and they used the team. They were under the team name Yeet Squad, which is why I wonder if Nicewig is still with CLG. I know Sick and Bowser aren't with them, but regardless, Nicewig getting 18 kills. Also, big ups to Sick being able to help his team get this victory. He's been to 7 finals, 7 grand finals in Apex, I believe, and this is the first time he's won. But also, I want to send out my condolences to Sick. I know, the show's not very popular, so he's probably not going to see this, but I want to send out my condolences and my best wishes to him because he went on Twitter yesterday and talked about how he had to, have his teammates change his entire mood yesterday because it was Father's Day and his father passed away when he was younger. So I understand that feeling. My father passed away 2 years ago in my arms. So I understand that feeling of not having a father on Father's Day. Fortunately, I am able to I spent yesterday with my mother and her husband, which is my stepfather, and he's been a great guy all my life as well. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and God bless yours, Stick. But they both played just as great alongside Nicewig. Again, racking up 18 kills on the day. That's a lot. I think the one game I was really hyped into, he got about 4 kills. Rogue and TSM also show up big. They take second and third respectively. I think TSM had a couple bad rotations early on in the matches, and that's what really cost them getting that first place. Besides Yeet Squad getting a ton of kills off the back of Nicewig. But Rogue, they look pretty impressive. I think they've always been a good team in Apex. I haven't really dove too much into the history of the Apex Legends, but I know they've been a really solid team throughout. And last but not least, Bloodhound has been huge during that tournament yesterday. All throughout the day, I saw Bloodhounds being picked, which was kind of to be expected after his buff and the meta start to be shifted once people start to experiment with new things in scrims and in the tournaments and so forth. I knew it would take a couple weeks. It did take about 2.5, 3 weeks now for Bloodhound to make it into the Pro League as heavily as he did yesterday. But with a ton of more teams utilizing Bloodhound, there was a lot more aggressive play because you can now, scan for enemies. You can get intel faster and at a better rate. But a lot of the teams that were using Bloodhound, I saw them in comps with a Wraith and a Gibraltar. Usually we see Wraith and Gibraltar with maybe a Watson or a Pathfinder. So those two champs being taken out of the composition to slide the Bloodhound in. Be interesting to see if that composition sticks, if a lot of teams stick with those. I know in NA specifically, we do see a couple Caustics come out already this season. So if we were to see more Caustics, a lot of people online tell me that Caustic's kind of meta right now in ranked and stuff. I see a lot of Loba in Apex Pred lobbies as well. So I don't know if Loba or Caustic will translate to the Pro League as effectively as they do in ranked or casuals. So we'll see. But Bloodhound, huge impact yesterday. Glad to see some mix-up in the meta in the pro scene as well. So let's move on here. 2 questions that were sent in to us. Thank you. Let's go to the mail here. It's mail time. Fortnite fanatics on Twitter have been asking their community if the game could benefit from having a gulag system similar to Call of Duty's Warzone. If this were to happen, would it be good or a bad thing for the game? All right. So first off, I forgot to write down the names of the people who sent in these two questions, so I'm sorry. But this is a really good question because I don't like Fortnite personally, but I still watch the esport because this is what we do here on Console Corner. We watch esports and we report on them. The thing with Fortnite is that, and I tell people this all the time when they ask me about Fortnite in depth. Fortnite was a PvE only game for co-op, and it cost like $60 when it came out. The game didn't make money. It wasn't as popular. But being backed by a company like Epic, they're able to totally shift gears, which they did. They watched PUBG get successful at that time. I think it was like, 2-3 years ago. So they changed it to a battle royale, made it a free-to-play game, and the game has become one of the biggest culture icons in the last 2 years. That's without a doubt. That can't be argued. Whether you hate the game or not, that is a fact, right? So for them to quote unquote steal the gulag from Warzone would not surprise me. Would they name it something else? Of course they would. Would they somehow find a way to make it unique to Fortnite? Yeah, they would. Would this be good? I think that the gulag is the best part of Warzone. I think it's the best aspect of Warzone. I personally don't play Warzone. I play Apex if I were to play BRs. That's because that translate with Fortnite, it's all about building. With Warzone, it's all about the money, the cash, right? With Apex, for me, it's like playing a hero shooter, which I'm used to, like Overwatch and Paladins and Valorant and all that stuff, where your characters have abilities that are unique to them and things like that. So if Fortnite were to get this, I think it would be a good thing for the game. But they would have to, and they will, find a way to make that their version of the gulag unique to themselves. Next up is Jeff Eisenband was on Twitter yesterday asking what players would be on Team USA or Team Canada if NBA 2K were to be included in the next FIBA Esports Open. Would this happen? How big would this be for the game, the NBA 2K League, and esports in general? This would be huge for all three of them across the platform, right? NBA 2K, the game, would get more exposure to people that wouldn't see it as often, right? Take, for example, Europe and the Middle East and even the CIS region, right? They love FIFA. Okay, I know it's two different developers, but they love FIFA. But in the real NBA, they watch NBA over there in all of those countries. NBA is one of the biggest. I think the NBA is the second biggest league or biggest sport world internationally, behind soccer or football, right? So all those people are exposed to FIFA. They watch these FIFA streams. They watch FIFA esports. If 2K were in the FIBA Esports Open, they would be exposed to this game and this culture that we have, right? Or that the 2K League brings to the table. It would be big for the league as well, because if you look at Overwatch, Overwatch has their league. They have their World Cup. They've been on ESPN. They've dominated Twitch. They're on YouTube now. I don't know if they're dominating YouTube, but they're on YouTube. Activision has the partnership with YouTube, so Call of Duty's numbers are getting bigger on there. I don't necessarily know about Overwatch, but Overwatch has been on ESPN. They've dominated Twitch. They've done all of these huge things. 2K League could be next. I mean, they've dominated Twitch. They're doing it now. Remote play has been a success so far. The command center is rocking on there now, where people can watch multiple games at once, or they can watch whatever game they want during these broadcasts. And they've been on ESPN. They've been on Sportsnet. They've been on TSN. Now it's time for them to be on the world stage in something like the FIBA Esports Open, right? And it would also be big for esports because most of the esports that we see on the world stage are shooters. And the ones that aren't are like FIFA or Rocket League, which is dynamically one sport. So if we were to get a North America dominated esport, which would be 2K League, because the NBA is North America dominated, but it's branching out. I think NBA 2K League could do the same thing. This would be great for all three of those. But let's end the show. Let's move on to the end here. Happy birthday to Dreeny, the current Madden player for Complexity. I actually got to meet Dreeny in person at DreamHack Atlanta in November of last year. Great guy, or great kid. He just turned 21 yesterday, and we hope he had a great day. With his championship title at the 2018 Madden Challenge, the bandana-wearing Dreeny became the youngest competitor to ever take home an MCS major belt. In his rookie season as an MCS competitor, he made 2 EA Major Live Event finals, including the 2018 Madden Bowl. Dreeny steamrolled through the Ultimate League with a 7-3 regular season record and faced off against Young Kiv in the final, falling just shy of his second MCS belt in one of the most exciting finishes in competitive Madden history. This season, there's no doubt that Dreeny is out to prove he's the best Madden competitor around. On offense, Dreeny is known to have a dominant power run game. He's also an expert at user lurk interceptions on defense and led the Madden 18 Ultimate League with 24 picks. Again, happy birthday to Dreeny, the bandana warrior of Madden. Also, last but not least, happy kickoff to Rainbow Six Siege as their pro leagues, their North American and European pro leagues will begin today. R6 pros are back. We'll be covering some of that as it comes up throughout the weeks. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Console Pro News. Like, share, and subscribe. This has been your episode. Tune in every Monday through Friday for a fresh episode, unless I forget or I fall asleep. Keep gaming, everyone.